Hi team, happy Sunday. I hope you're all having a lovely weekend so far and ready for a little bit of a stretch. Now, I've had all my requests, but if there's any last minute requests, speak now, hold your peace. I'm just going to mute everyone up and then we are going to get cracking. So for those of you using the playlist today, pop it on for me from the beginning now. And just head on over to your mat. All you need today is a cushion and also make sure you've got some water nearby as well, just as we walk through. We're going to start with our legs in a cross-legged position. So coming on over, just find yourself a nice comfortable seat. Now, as you've crossed your legs, you've probably, as you always know, crossed them the same way as you normally do. Just want you to cross them the other way for me. So whichever way you've gone, just give it a quick switch around. And before we get started today, before we close those eyes down and even think about having a stretch, just want you to have a think about why you've joined today's class, why you've tuned in to have a little bit of a stretch out. Perhaps you had a really good session today and you're feeling that your body deserves a little bit of a stretch, or perhaps you had more of a tough session and you're just feeling like that body could use a little bit of TLC. We're going to start by just working through some shoulder rolls. So popping the hands really gently onto the knees for me. I'm just going to roll the shoulders forwards, upwards and backwards. So bring them round, up to the ears, all the way back, feeling those cracks. Ooh, and then back round again. We're going to go backwards 5 times. Nice and slowly. And as you feel ready, just begin to close those eyes down if you can. And if you'd like to. No pressure. Just if it feels right. Taking some time for yourself. When you finish this shoulder roll, just going the other way for me. So bring them back first, then up to the ears, round to the front and down. Again, just working through this way 5 times at your own pace. And while we're here, just starting to focus on that breathing a little bit for me as well. And last roll, up to the shoulders, round to the front and down. Just give those shoulders a little bit of a shake off. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Take the hands up to the back of the head, interlace the fingers for me. And as you exhale, just apply a little bit of pressure to the back of the head as we move into a really light neck and shoulder stretch. So you should feel this down the back of the neck, but also potentially into the tops of those shoulders as well. If you can't feel it in those shoulders, then just imagine you've got a brick on each shoulder, pushing them down towards the floor. And you should start to feel a nice deep stretch down them as you increase that weight. Well done, guys. And again, remember, anytime during today's session, if you need to take a rest or a break or come out of any stretch positions, please just listen to the body. It's really key that we're focused on how our individual bodies are feeling. Just going to drop the left arm down to the floor now. Just wiggle the right hand round to the side of the head and then tilt the head down towards the right hand side. Walking those fingers out towards the left and feeling a nice deep stretch all the way from the top of the ear, down the lobe, down the side of the shoulder and into that upper arm as well. And while we're here, we're just all going to take one deep breath together in through the nose and sigh it out through the And when you're ready, bring that head back to center, right arm down to the floor, left arm comes up and over, deep breath in. And as you exhale, just starting to apply that pressure to the side of the head, walk those fingers on out and slowly stretch through that right hand side this time. All together again, a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Well done, guys. You guys stay where you are. I'm just going to shuffle around. And now releasing the left hand from the side of the head. I'm just going to take both hands and walk them forwards, lowering the chest towards the floor. So it's a little bit like our child's pose, but we're doing it from a cross-legged position instead. So the legs stay exactly where they are. Allow the chest and the head to be heavy. And just slowly walk those fingers forwards for me, spreading the hands so you've got as much distance as you can possibly have between the thumb and the little finger. And push into that mat. So pushing the floor away from you as much as you can. Just holding here and using this opportunity whilst our head is facing the floor to close those eyes down if you haven't already. I'm just going to stay here for 6 breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with every exhale, I just want you to walk those fingers a tiny little bit further forwards for me, in through the nose, out through the mouth. 3 more. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and sigh it out. And last one for me, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just shuffling your weight forwards, bringing yourself onto your knees, bringing the feet together behind you, taking the knees wide, and now just moving backwards into our full child's pose this time. Sending that bum back towards the heels and stretching the arms out in front of us, spreading the fingers and pushing down into that floor as much as you can. Now remember, the main thing with our child's pose is that whilst we want to send that bum back towards the heels, we also want to engage those hands towards the floor so that our back is being stretched as well. Well done, Jem. Perfect. And we're just going to stay here for around a minute, just centering ourselves before we start to work into some lower body stretching for today. We've got some hamstrings, some quads, some calves, some hips. Is there anything that wasn't hurting, guys? Just slowly breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And on your next exhale, if you can push that bum any further back towards those heels, just want you to give it that little tap more. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just lifting yourself up to a tabletop position. You want those knees directly underneath the hips and the hands directly underneath the shoulders. Now, if my knee looks a little bit funny at any point, it is just because I've got a massive bruise from tripping over my own feet. So apologies, but you guys should have your knees nice and flat to the floor. And we're just going to work through some cat-cows here. So just sinking the belly down to the floor, bringing the eye line up to the top of the room and the tail up alongside it. And then on our inhale, rounding the back, tucking that tail, bringing the forehead down and bringing that belly button up towards the sky. And then on our exhale, pushing back through the other way. And on our inhale, arching through that back again, rounding that spine. And we're just going to spend 30 seconds here at our own paces, working through our cat-cow as we need. Perhaps you want to move side to side or round and round or in a figure of 8. Just wherever you feel you need to take that movement. Perhaps you want to sit back into a child's pose again. Wherever you want to be. Just tuning in to where that body is telling you you should go. You might want to look back over the shoulders to stretch through those sides. Well done, guys. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just carefully bring yourself back to center. Take a moment to just have a sip of water before we start to move into our lower body stretches. Now, if you haven't got a cushion nearby, I would suggest nipping and getting one if you can. Totally up to you. If you're working on a softer floor, you might be absolutely fine, but we're going to be doing a lot of single leg work. So there's going to be a lot of weight going through one knee at a time. So if you want to just block the floor with a cushion, that might feel a little bit more comfortable. So we can keep our right knee where it is. We're going to step our left foot back behind us onto the ball of the foot. So your foot is nice and flexed. We've just got the toes on the floor. From here, we're going to just start working into some calf rocks. So all you're going to do is slowly move the body and the body weight back towards the toes and push the weight backwards. Now that's going to bring you into a really deep calf stretch, which you should feel all the way down the back of that leg. And then when you're ready, just bring your weight back over towards the hands a little bit more. And at your own pace, just rocking backwards and forwards again through that calf stretch. We're just going to spend 30 seconds in our rocking before we move into a 30-second hold of the deep calf stretch. Try as much as you can to keep the hips in line. Try and not let one side sink deeper than the other, because we've got the left leg out. You might find the right hand side sinking a little bit, but try and keep it nice and flat if you can. And one more rock back now. And bring it back to center. We're all just going to give ourselves a little shake off, shake the shoulders. Bring the hands back to our tabletop position. Adjust yourself, keep that foot where it is. A nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, I just want you to go as deep into that calf as you can, pushing that body weight back as far as you can into the ball of the foot and into the calf stretch. If you wish, you can come down onto your forearms rather than being up on those wrists. Wherever feels more comfortable for you. It's a little bit like a pigeon stretch, but without that front leg bent through. And we're just going to stay here for another 30 seconds. And as always, with every exhale, just pushing a little bit deeper into the ball of that foot, only if you'd like to. But remembering that every exhale is a little bit of an opportunity to move deeper and further. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bringing yourself back up onto the hands. If you've had the knee on a cushion, just slide the cushion over to the left knee instead. And all we're going to do is switch sides. So we're going to take that right foot back onto the ball of the foot. Left knee stays bent, hands underneath those shoulders. And when you're ready, we're just going to start moving into those rocks as we did on the other side. So sending the body weight back and then forwards and then back and then forwards. If you want to shuffle the body weight side to side at all to get into a specific area of your calf, then that's absolutely fine. As always, just listen to what the body is telling you. We're going to have another 15 seconds here before we sink down into that deep calf stretch. So just make a little mental note of any specific areas that feel tight. Maybe it's down the left, maybe it's down the right. So that when we come low, you can focus into that area. Bring yourself back to the center, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And as you breathe out, just pushing deeply back into that calf. And if you wish, lowering yourself down slightly towards the floor, keeping that weight pushing back into that calf. The calf is a really difficult area to stretch other than in a standing calf stretch or with a roller or a ball. So this is just a nice different way that you can easily work through stretching its ankles. Well done, guys. Just going to come over and see how we're doing. Well done, Rowan. Well done, Georgina. Nice Gemma, perfect team. And just staying here, focusing on that breathing. And every time you exhale, pushing a little bit deeper, if you can and if you'd like to. Remember, really key that we're listening to the body. Another 15 seconds. Final inhales and exhales. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bringing yourself back up onto the hands. We're not going back to tabletop. We're going to bring that right leg through. The foot's going to come over to the left hand. The knee's going to come down to the right. And we're going to come down into our pigeon on this side. So the right leg is folded in front of you and the left leg is back behind you. We can either be up on the hands or we can come down onto the forearms, or if you'd like to, you can come all the way down to a little nap on the floor. And if it's feeling a little bit too much through those hips, then feel free to keep your cushion just in the groin area so that it takes a little bit of the pressure. If you'd like to take it deeper, then just slide that cushion out so that you're coming all the way down into a full extension. And we're just going to zone out in this one. When we're in pigeon, it's really easy to start tensing that right glute. So just tune in. Are you holding tension through that right glute? Maybe even through the left glute. If you are, then on your next exhale, just let it drop. Perhaps allow yourself to drop a little bit further, which in turn will release any pressure that we're holding on to. Well done, guys. You're going to be staying here for another 30 seconds. So if you're up on your hands, this is a good opportunity to lower to the next level. If you're on your forearms, perhaps you want to come down with the head onto folded arms, wherever you feel comfortable. And wherever you feel like you're getting the most out of this nice deep stretch. Perfect, guys. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself back up onto the hands carefully from wherever you are. If you've got a cushion, just slide it out for me. We're going to take the right leg back behind us to join the left, lower the pelvis towards the floor, and come into our upward dog. So sending the pelvis to the floor, looking up to that sky, and stretching through that core and through those hips. If you've got tight hips, just wiggle the feet a little bit further apart for me, and that's going to send it more into those hips. If you're struggling with a tight core today, bring those legs a little bit closer, and that's going to send it more through the core. When you're ready, we're just going to take a few looks over the shoulders. So turning the head now around the left-hand side to start with, looking as far behind as you can. Any little clicks, don't worry at all. It's totally normal. And on your next exhale, just coming around to the right-hand side instead. Noticing if you struggle to look behind you more in one direction than the other. Just an important mobility note to take forwards. Coming back to center, tucking those toes, sending the bum up to the sky and coming into our downward dog. If you need, we can walk through those heels. If you're ready to hold a deeper stretch, then feel free to send the heels completely down to the floor. Our gaze should be looking back through between our legs to the wall behind, and that bum should be going up towards that little bit of where you would have that coving in the ceiling, just between the top of the wall and where it interconnects with the ceiling. We want to imagine we're sending the bum all the way up to that corner. Well done, guys. Looking lovely, Gemma. If you've been holding a static downward dog, just encouraging you now to bring a little bit of movement through the legs. So just bending one knee and then the other, and then one knee and then the other. And when you're ready, just bringing the weight forwards once more to our high plank, dropping the hips towards the floor, untucking the toes, and coming into our upward dog once more. Once you're here, take a moment to center yourself. Make sure that you're not holding that bum or any tension in those shoulders. And when you're ready, turning that gaze back over that left shoulder once more. So going back through our little rotations. Perfect. And on your next exhale, back over to that right shoulder. Well done, team. Looking good. Back to the center for me. Tucking the toes, sending that bum back up to the sky and back into our downward dog again. Again, options here, either your static downward dog or your downward dog with movement. If you wish to just bend through those knees, that is absolutely fine. We're not going to be here for too long before we come into our pigeon on the other side. So we're just working through a nice bit of hamstring stretching here. And when you're ready, stepping the left foot towards the right hand, lowering the knee down to the floor on the left-hand side and keeping the right leg behind you. If you need a little bit of support, sliding that cushion under the pelvis, as we did on the other side, and then coming into our pigeon, either low or on the hands, or our full pigeon with our head down on the floor. Feeling a nice deep stretch through the left hip. And just as we did on the other side, if you can feel yourself holding any tension through the left glute, through the left hip, perhaps up into the spine at all, or down into the quad. On the next exhale, just try and release that all away for me. Remember, you can move through the different positions. So if you're up on your hands and you want to take it further, you can lower down. If you're lower down and it gets a little bit too much, you can lift yourself back up. If you've not got that cushion in the pelvic area, then that's always an option to add in here if you would like to. And just tuning out as we stay here for around another 45 seconds. A really deep stretch for the body today. Pigeon is a fantastic stretch, which not only comes into the glutes, but the main hip joint, which is an area that gets extremely tight in us runners. Well done, guys. Perfect. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bringing yourself back up onto those hands when you're ready. Take a moment to center yourself. If you've got a cushion in, just slide it on out for me. And when you're ready, we're going to step that left leg back to meet the right leg. Come into our high plank. Then lower the knees to the floor for me. Untuck the toes, bring the chest down, and we're going to push up one final time into our upward dog. No rotations this time. Just one final moment here to notice the difference between the first time we entered this stretch and this time. And hopefully just feeling a little bit more open. Rather than looking over the shoulders, you can dip from side to side by bending one elbow and then the other, if you'd like to add a little bit of movement. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the feet together, knees wide, sitting back into our child's pose. Remember, keeping those hands really nice and widespread, sending the bum back towards the heels and pushing the floor away from us will really help to engage that back and stretch through the back as well. Perfect, guys, well done. Looking good, Gemma. Well done, Georgina. Good work, Rowan. Keep it there for me, guys. Now, after this stretch, we're going to be moving into the next little section of today's class. So whenever you're ready, just bring yourself up into your tabletop position. Give everything a little bit of a wiggle off. Take in some water if you need, and we're going to meet back in our cross-legged position where we started the class today. Perfect. Give you all just a few seconds. Well done, guys. Okay, we're going to move over now to a little bit of hamstring and IT band stretching. So we're going to start off by taking the left leg out into a straddle. So the right leg is going to stay where it is, left leg comes out to the side. The right leg, the foot doesn't need to be exactly against the inside, but you want to think about the bottom of the foot being parallel to the inside of that leg. From where you are, we're going to take the hands up above the head. Then we're going to twist at the hips to bring ourselves round. So we're looking just over our toes. Once you're here, take a nice deep breath in through the nose And then as we breathe out through the mouth, hinge through those hips as you bring yourself down towards the foot. If you can, take a hold of the foot, that's great. If not, just rest the hands onto the shin. And our focus here is to flex the toes towards the forehead as much as we can. And that is going to bring a nice deep stretch into that hamstring for you. Down the back of that left thigh. It can be quite intense, this one. So if you need to bring yourself up at any point and then lower back in, that's absolutely fine. Ideally, if you come out the stretch, just bring the arms back up and round before you lower back in. It just allows us to make sure that we're nice and in line with our joints. Well done, guys. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting yourself up slightly, keeping the right leg tucked. You're going to take the left foot across the right leg. So you're going to bring it up and across. So we've got the legs crossed. You're going to take your right arm and wrap it around the outside of that left leg. And take your left hand behind the left glute. And you're going to look over that left shoulder, giving that left leg a big hug in towards you. And you should feel a nice deep stretch all the way from the lower back, around the glute and up the side of the leg. Now that area is the glute and IT band. Again, another difficult area for us to stretch. So a simple stretch like this at the end of your run can really help to just ease out that area. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Twisting a little bit more. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just allow that left knee to flop back to that floor. And we're going to switch over. So when you're ready, taking the right leg out to the straddle position. Imagining that the left foot is parallel to the inside of the right leg. And once we're here and centered, just take those arms up overhead once more. Twist the body over towards that right leg so that our chest is facing the foot and we're looking out across the top of that foot and then lowering that chest towards the leg for me. Again, taking hold of the foot or the shin as we move into our fold. And focusing on tilting, either using the brain to tell the toes to tilt or manually with our hand towards the forehead so that we start to feel a nice deep stretch down the back of that thigh. Remembering all the time, the most important thing we can do is breathe through our stretches. Perfect. On your next exhale, just give those toes a little bit more or sink the chest a little bit lower. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully rising back up. Take that right foot and cross it over the left leg for me. Bring the left arm around the right leg. Take the right hand behind the glute and twisting over that right shoulder whilst hugging that right leg in with the left arm. And again, nice deep breathing as we stretch from the lower back around the glute and up into that hamstring and IT band on this side. Just going to come check we're all okay and that no one's twisted, because it's quite an easy one to get in a bit of a twist. Jem, you're all good. Don't worry. You're in the right place. Perfect. Well done, guys. This can be quite an intense stretch. So if at any point you just need to let go a little bit, then please feel free to. And on your next exhale, just giving it one little big hug for the last time. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But coming back to center, and this time taking both legs out into a straddle position. Again, as always, it doesn't matter how wide they are at all. Just where feels comfortable for you is all that's important. Now we're going to take the hands, pop them on the thighs, roll the shoulders back and down so that we're nice and chest proud. And then we're slowly going to glide those hands down the legs as far as we can as we curve at those hips and bring ourselves into a full straddle stretch. Now you might want to give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. You might have the hands on the inside of the calf and that's far enough, or the knee, but wherever you can start feeling that groin and inner thigh stretching is where we want to be for this one. Again, it's quite an intense stretch. So try and relax the best you can. Just using every exhale to let go of any tension wherever you might be feeling it. Perfect. Not going to stay here for too long, just another 10 or so seconds. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bring the hands to the center and then gradually walk them back in towards the groin area for me till you're sat up nice and straight. You're going to take the hands behind you, bring those legs around to the side and making sure your cushion is just behind you. You're slowly going to lower yourself back down towards the floor. Now's a great time to just have a sip if you need a little break. And once you're done, we're all going to meet in a lying position. We're going to bring the feet sole to sole, allowing the knees to flop out towards the sides, just allowing gravity to open up through that groin area and counteract the stretch that we've just done. Bringing one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. Just calming that breathing down again as we move into the last little section of today's class. If you haven't already closed those eyes down, I would really encourage you to do so just for these final few moments and use my voice as a guide as much as you can. When you're ready, we're just going to bring those knees together. Heel toe the feet out so they're about hip distance apart. You're going to take your left foot and cross it onto the right thigh, and then leaning through the gap in the center, either taking a hold of the back of the right hamstring or the right shin, bringing the knee in towards us to feel a nice deep stretch down the left hand glute and into that quad and hamstring as well. Try not to hold any tension in the shoulders here. Just try and focus as much as you can on using these final breaths to release from the body any final tension that you're feeling. And on your next exhale, just giving it a little bit more of a hug for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently lowering that right foot back to the floor, uncrossing the left leg, crossing the right over onto the left, and then slowly coming through the gap, taking a hold of either the hamstring or the shin, and coming into the same stretch, but on the right hand side this time. Again, using the breath to relax into it and let go of any final areas of tension on the right hand side of the body. A nice deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, just one more pull towards you. Holding for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the left foot to the floor. Lowering the right foot down to the floor. Bringing the soles of the feet together and just allowing gravity to take those knees out wide again to counteract that stretching. When you're ready, we're just going to bring the knees in, both at the same time. Give them a nice big hug with the arms. Curl the head in, if you wish, as well. And I just want you to imagine you're hugging a friend, a relative, a loved one. The same hug you would give them, give it to yourself. And slowly just tilting from left to right, just a tiny bit to massage through that spine. Coming back to center now. Lowering the right leg, keeping the left leg hugged in. Just give the left leg one last squeeze towards that chest for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Left leg goes out, right leg comes in. One last squeeze for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Both legs go down to the floor. Bringing the hands out to the side, closing the eyes if they aren't already. As we just come into 1 minute of you time to finish today's stretching. Focus on the breathing if it helps you. One hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. I just want you to visualize here a happy moment for you, whether that's a happy moment you've had this week with your training or with life, or whether that's a happy moment that you're hoping to have. Just allow it to bring a smile to your face. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, if you'd like to spend some more time here, that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to stay in your resting position as long as you like. If you're ready to finish off today's class, just slowly roll yourself over to whichever side is more comfortable into a little fetal position, using the hands as a pillow. Keeping those eyes closed, just bring the hands underneath you and push yourself up into our cross-legged position. Again, please try and keep the cross-leg the opposite way to how you normally would. Just want you to bring now those hands to the knees. And all together, we're just going to take 1 deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth to finish today's class. Remember, you're the only person that can hear this breath, so feel free to use it to get rid of whatever you need to. Breathing in through the nose now and sighing away. Bringing the palms to cover the eyes. And if you're ready, slowly blinking the eyes open. And then slowly removing the hands and allowing that light back in. Well done, guys. I'm coming on over. If you're still in your resting position, that is absolutely fine. Feel free to mute me up and stay there for as long as you like. If you've fallen asleep, that's totally fine as well. That's just stay there, have a nap. That's fine. Gem's like, the dog is asleep. Well done, guys. It was lovely to see you this evening. I hope that little stretch has helped just stretch off anything you needed to from this week and get you ready for the week ahead. So yeah, just make sure to stay well hydrated this evening. As always, deep stretching can really take it out of those muscles. So please do make sure you're hydrating, fueling well this evening, and getting a good night's rest. No problem at all, Georgina. Glad that you enjoyed today's session. And next week, very quickly, a little reminder that on Wednesday, we have our How to Fuel for Your Marathon session at 7 p.m. with the fantastic Kate from the Food Boss. So that will be a webinar on Zoom hosted by myself and Kate. If you can't make it, don't worry at all. It will be recorded and sent around after, as always, but I'd love to see you there live. And if you are available, it's a great opportunity because we'll have a Q&A section as well if there's anything specific you would like to ask her and rack her brains about, because there's definitely things I'll be racking her brains about. Anyway, I will leave you to your evenings, team. Enjoy the rest of tonight, and any questions, just drop me a message. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. Bye.